So, my friend Amaz, I was working with him to help him prep for Charlotte, and he was playing black white basically all the whole time leading up to it. And then he called me like the night before, like on Thursday night, no, Friday night, I think. Might have been Thursday. It was like, Detectives Phoenix, it solves all of the problems. And I was a little bit dubious on some aspects of his build with Detectives Phoenix. But I do think on a more macro level, Detectives Phoenix in a Ketramose deck makes a lot of sense. It can immediately turn on your Ketramose, enabling it to attack and block. You can also have like this really powerful draw of going Ketramose, Detectives Phoenix, draw a card, and then attack with the flying menace lifelink indestructible creature. It also gives the deck a more aggressive element, which I think is something that the black-white builds are missing, is the ability to be fast. And so he was playing Dothy Voidwalker. He was playing just a light red splash. He wasn't playing Phlage. He wasn't playing Looting. And I think the biggest issue in my mind with his build of the deck was that he was playing Solitude in the deck. And I think you just should not have Solitude and Phoenix in the same build, probably. It's just like so much archetypal tension, if that makes sense. So I like the idea though, and so I wanted to work on a more aggressive build of the deck. And also like in testing so far, Detectives Phoenix on Phelia has been really, really nice. This has been something that I've really enjoyed. But I think you want to play Phlage. I think if you have Phlage and Phoenix in your deck, all of a sudden Faithless Looting becomes a pretty good card selection tool. And one thing that's kind of fun about this build as well is that since we're more focus on the graveyard, like in theory we're weaker to graveyard hate, but also if our opponents are bringing in a bunch of Relic of Progenitus and stuff, like we just have 4 Ketramose, so we don't even care that much about the graveyard hate. So I'm also like leaning in on Prismatic Ending a bunch more than he was. I think you need to play a couple Oliphants for the Phoenixes. 0 Relic sideboard. Yeah, I mean, I think between the Trespassers and the Emperor of Bones, I want to be like, this is my graveyard hate. And the thing is, like, Relic is good against Breach game 1. It's not that good against it post board. You also don't want to play Relic in your Phlage Phoenix deck. So I would play Nile Spellbomb instead. Can you explain more on the Phelia Detectives Phoenix synergy? Yeah, it gives the thing haste and flies over blockers, which are two things that Phelia is kind of weak to, right? Okay, let's keep this. Let's put back a pending. It's just been like a good sequence to go. Like, also you get to go turn 2 Overlord, mill stuff in the yard to collect evidence over, and then you get to go Phelia Phoenix haste, which has been pretty nice. Oh, talking about Solitude. Yeah, Solitude is like a very slow card that gains your opponent life, which is just not. And Phoenix is like almost a pure aggro card. And so, like, obviously, like, there's some synergy too because you can like bestow, but it's like I'm just not very interested in playing Solitude and Phoenix together in the same deck. I could just be wrong. Could just be wrong. It looks like we're up against Ponza. Brick on the Overlord. Too bad we didn't cycle our looting. We did, or our Oliphaunt. We did mill over a looting, I guess. Have we tried Mox Opal and 8 Blast yet? Yeah. We did that pretty early. It was okay. Maybe I'm just getting Blood Moon this turn. Yeah, we maybe need a higher creature count. I agree. It's possible. I think it's okay. Alright, well, gonna Phelia this turn then. We are on 24 creatures. I think that's pretty reasonable number. Did I see the SpongeBob Secret Lair? I know that they're doing one. I haven't seen the details on it. Piano with the 51 months. Thank you so much, my friend. Welcome back. For our Detectives Phoenixes, though? That's true. I think that's okay. So the Sacred Foundry so that I can replay Phelia this turn. I think this is a previous Spicer draft with Kalia and Goraz. I think this is a previous spicier draft with Kalia and Goraz. I had a Goryo's Ketramose build that I was working on, and there was some difficult balance to strike. Like to circle back to the point about 4 of the creatures are Phoenix, like milling over a Phoenix with Overlord is value, even if you don't put it in your hand. Sometimes you will mill over a Phoenix and sometimes you'll mill over a Phoenix and get another creature back, right? Moxwood was wrong? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, I guess. No, this is the old build. Looks like I posted the wrong Mardu build, and I see what you're saying. All right, there we go. All right, Klothys, Dueling Ketramose. I'm playing 4 Outcast Trailblazers over the Ranger Captains. Huh. If I was going to play Outcast Trailblazer, I would be kind of interested in playing more Fanatic of Ronus, but I think that that's an interesting direction to go. I can take a look at that. I like the suggestion, and then you can also cut 6 from the deck and just like Green Sun for that on your 3-drop on the curve. So I want to attack with the Overlord here, I think, this turn. So I can try to mill Detectus Phoenix for the Ketramose, which feels pretty important. I milled a Phlage instead. 2 Phlages. Oh, I guess, sorry, also milling Phoenix is a bit awkward with the situation here. I guess I'll take back an Oliphaunt, though. Okay. They could have double blocked with the Ketramose. It's probably not the best block, probably. How's Storm deck do? We 3-2'd our first league, and then we 0-2 dropped the second, so probably not too surprising. But I thought the deck was pretty cool, and of course, a big part of this channel is always about it's always about like trying the weird stuff and like trying to maximize an idea like that, and then sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't, but you kind of got to get these out of your system and see like how far the idea can go, and then you can understand if it's something you want to dive into deeper later. Okay, I'll take a look at these SpongeBob Secret Lair arts, I guess. React streamer. Well, hold on. They have a 4-drop? 5-drop? Season Pyromancer flashback? Okay, thank goodness. Ooh, Ford Truck Month. Okay, so we have SpongeBob as Joda the Unifier. It's fine. Plankton, Tiny Tyrant, Skrelv. Okay. Wait, is that all we have? Is just these 2? Or okay, sorry, the rest of the gallery. Mr. Krabs is Cheris, the Raising Isle. Card I have in my Commander deck. I guess I can put that in my Sea Monster deck. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, I might. There's actually a lot more than I would have expected. Okay, these are pretty cool. I didn't see the counterspell y'all were talking about. I don't know how I missed that. So there are 3 cards in exile here. Pretty deep in the deck without finding a Phoenix. I guess I just want to attack the Wrenn 6, exile the token, and mill 4 more for a Phoenix, which we do find. So I'll go ahead and say yes to this ability. I want the Phlage in my hand, I think, so that I could potentially cast it this turn After we draw a card off the Ketramose. You skipped... I skipped all of them? What? I looked at like 10 cards. Okay, I missed... Okay, I did miss a bunch. Wow, there's so many. Daze, Counterspell. I hate this. Okay, I don't know Barktooth Warhound. So Sandy is Toski? Okay, I need a Sandy Toski. I need a Sandy Toski. Okay, so let's go bestow the Detective's Phoenix here. And then I think I'm just going to be flipping over a bunch of lands. Just make sure we have enough cards in exile. Draw a card. So I'm going down to 4. I block, I go to 10. I take 4. So it seems like I don't need to play out another creature here. MTG is so cooked, for fuck's sake. I don't know. It's not that serious, I think. Let people have fun. Huh. Okay, the fact that this is now Patrick Star, like 25 years later, is something to think about for sure. It really says a lot about our society. Well, we got a Phoenix on a Ketramose. Two gods dueling. Cycles Sheltered Thicket. They can copy the Spyro with Reflection. Athena, what do you want? You don't want to go outside again, do you? You're just out there. Just beg to come back inside. Yeah, let me take a look, YRG. I feel like I still want to play the 4th Static Prison over the 1st Prismatic Ending. I thought Prison was really good in the deck. Although I guess it is less good because you don't have Ranger Captain, so you have less options. All right, let's see if I'm alive. I think I'm alive. All right, I'm at 4. I got a lot to focus on here, but... Yeah, it's interesting that you cut the... the Fanatic of Ronus when you added a bunch more enablers for it. Like, you can go turn 2... Like, I like that this deck can now go turn 2 Fanatic, turn 3 Outcast Trailblazer, and then Green Sun for another Trailblazer. Like, that's, I think, a pretty cool curve. Interesting. Do I have lethal? So if I have Phoenix and Overlord, this is 7 plus 6, which is 13 plus 3 from the Phlage. 7 plus 6, 13 plus 3, 16. I couldn't find the space. Yeah, I think that's something I really want to try here. I mean, like, maybe cutting these, but... Hold on, I need to let this dog outside again. All right, inside, outside, inside, outside. Okay, what are we doing here? Think WotC should change Modern to be 80 card main deck format? No. Sorry that you're so bored. What are we doing? I guess I could go... Yeah, I mean, I guess Phlaging... I can Phelia kill one of these and then Phlage the other one, but that still doesn't give me lethal. What happens if I Emperor of Bones Oliphaunt? I can give Overlord Trample. Okay, so if I go Emperor of Bones Oliphaunt, they're at 11. I give Overlord Trample, Oliphaunt has Trample. I exile an Elemental token. They block Phelia because that's the most effective block, and then... That's pretty lethal. Okay, so took a little bit of time, but looks like we found the line. I kind of forgot to mention this part of the the deck and the deck tech, I guess. Triggers on the stack. -3. All right, so bring in the Graveyard Trespassers. I think I'm cutting my Thoughtseizes. And then Vindicate for Karn. And Utopia Sprawl seems kind of okay. Let's play like 2 copies. Trim the looting. Alright, let's keep this one against the land destruction deck. All these extra lands are pretty nice. I don't have the basic swamp in the deck because of Phlage. That might be wrong, though. You have a second Plains in the deck, which maybe we should be getting right now. I think I'm going to impending the Overlord here. Again, we have this nut draw in the deck that is, we can if we find a Phelia, we can potentially Detective's Phoenix the Phelia, and then flicker the Overlord on turn 3, which is nice because that also kind of. So here we just milled over Phoenix, Ketramose, and Trespasser. So I think I should be taking the Ketramose because I have the ability to Phoenix and Bestow, which in this matchup this has been seeming pretty nice so far. Also, we could draw the Phelia still and then Bestow Exile over these. For the Gearhulk deck, I notice you typically have 3 mana turn 2, so plotting Outcaster gets you Elesh Norn turn 3 if you don't have Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, I'm pretty on board to test the Outcast Trailblazer. Pretty on board. I just need to hammer that out. Pillaged. I think I'd rather them go after Godless Shrine than Blood Crypt here, so let's play the Godless Shrine. Yeah. With what's nice about this synergy of Detective's Phoenix plus Klothys is that you can exile more cards than you need with evidence collecting, so you can get enough cards in exile for the Ketramose, not Klothys. Yeah, BNR is on the 30th first. It doesn't seem like the worst time to be Ponzi-ing. I used to play a lot of Ponza back in the day. Can't wait for no changes in Legacy. What do we think needs to change in Legacy? I haven't really been paying any attention to the format. Remember when Ponza was tier 1 before MH2? Well, it was before MH1, right? Like, I remember there was a time where I was just I just grinded Ponza online and I wasn't playing a lot of Magic, but the deck was just really well positioned and I would usually make some extra money on the side. But I'm pretty sure this was before MH1. Whoa! Opponent, thanks for the content. Let's go. I guess I don't need another one of those. I kind of opened myself up to Surgical, I guess. With MH1, Rin and 6. Yeah, I don't remember Rin and 6 being in the Ponza deck, but maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a long time, right? Okay, so right now there's only 1 card in exile, so we can go exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just a bunch. Probably too many on account of the whole. Yeah, 1 too many because of Phlage. MH1 had Pillage. Yeah, but you would play Stone Raid, Molten Rain before. I just don't remember that deck being popular, but it certainly could have been. Yeah. Their deck's gonna have a hard time beating this, I think. Yeah, fun trick. Again, shout out my friend Amaz for the tack. Pretty cool. All right, Klothys, you're out of date. I don't know what to tell you. I know you used to be. It used to be our god. Now we worship Klothys, or sorry, Ketramose. Yeah, let's go push first. Draw a card. Clothis, I do not want to play with you anymore. Oh, sorry. I thought I still had a mountain in the deck. All right, I won't exile you this turn, I guess. Should have played the Sacred Foundry. Yeah, I meant to Prismatic Ending the Clothis, but I thought I had a basic mountain still in the deck. But it was milled. Yeah, imagine run a foul, dude. That'd be so crazy. Well, I still have a Prismatic Ending for Ensnaring Bridge. I guess I'm just gonna give them a taste of their own medicine here. Yeah, I guess we could have gone digging for another Phoenix. But I always love when you play a deck like this and you get to show off the idea or the tech immediately. Let's see if we find another Phoenix to haste the Overlord also. Yeah, I do want to circle back to the chatter who was like, some of the creatures for your Overlord of Phoenix. That's just synergy, I think. That's not really tension. They endurance themselves in response. Interesting. Okay, so unlucky I didn't find a another Phoenix. I think Solitude looks pretty decent here in the Mardu shell. So that was kind of my entire thinking that you don't want to play Solitude here. Amaz was playing Solitude. I just think Phoenix and Solitude have a lot of tension. Solitude is like a mid-range card, a controlling card, a card that's giving your opponent life. And then Phoenix wants you to like lean into a more aggressive build of the deck. That's my thesis, at least. That's why I built the deck this way, is to be more aggressive and not play Solitude. And I think it's cool that it kind of takes the relic spot of like get Ketramose online really quickly. Thoughts on Grim Lavamancer? I don't think Lavamancer is very well positioned, but if it was, we could think about it some more. Also, just has some tension with we have Phlage and we have Phoenix. Like, you don't just get to play infinite of these effects, I think. I think we're gonna go for Phelia into Prismatic Ending Overlord, but it is pretty tempting to go Thoughtseize pending this turn. Yeah, it's true. If they play like a second Mako, the first Phelia can reset one. Nausea with the 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. This is a pretty good... yeah, I'm like, they don't have a Street Wraith, I think, if they're going to wait that long. Or they almost definitely don't have a removal spell either. So I think I'm getting Sacred Foundry, so I can either Detective's Phoenix or Prismatic Ending this turn. Well, I guess I'm not that likely to Phoenix, huh? Alright, let's get the Emperor back first. Actually, I wonder if it's better to get rid of the Adept because of the Menace. Probably not, but could actually be. And like Phelia again can reset. Doesn't exactly seem like their hand is full of strength for whatever that's worth. Kind of greedy. Take the Oliphaunt. I think it's okay. We still have the Mountain in the deck too. Go use the restroom. Be right back. All right, winning the game in the bathroom. Let's freaking go. Mac with the 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. think another siding out of these Thoughtseizes. We have one Wear Tear over the last one. Click submit. What are my thoughts on 6 out of 8 Breach top 8 RC? I mean, it seems almost certain at this point that Wizards will take action against the deck 3 weeks from today. I would be shocked if the deck existed as is in 3 weeks' time. So play it while you can. I think it's most likely that they ban Underworld Breach instead of Mox Opal, but of course Wizards does mostly do things at random, so we'll see. Yeah, I think that I've been saying this for over a year at this point, but the best thing that could happen to Modern is getting rid of the scheduled BNRs and being able to ban things as needed to increase at the rate at which Modern improves. Because I think the scheduled BNRs worked for a little while in an environment where Modern didn't need drastic fixing for extended periods of time, but Modern has needed drastic fixing for extended periods of time for a while now. There have been several just awful, ruinous Modern formats. The current one we have is way better than the Nadu one was, and way better than the Energy one was, but it does need some fixing. I think it's better to push than play the Phelia here. Has Breach gotten stronger over the last 12 months? Yeah, of course. So there's a Vengevine in the yard. Yeah, you could do like 1 month announcement schedule instead of 3 month announcement schedule or something. But we just shouldn't have like 3 month periods where things need fixing. And I do think things are much better now than they have been, and I'm not like super upset, but our structure just still could be better. It just still could be better. Didn't they also admit scheduled BNRs are bad last time? I didn't see them say anything about it. I would love to see a link to that clip or whatever, but I haven't seen that. They are bad. All right, they flashback a looting. They play an Arena of Glory. They pump the Root Wall out. They hit me for 5. So I'm down to 9. It's not that often you play a game like this where you're just kind of racing. I think we might as well graveyard that. Let's keep the Oliphaunt in the yard because this Overlord can get it back. But yeah, this is kind of weird. I'm going to target my Detective's Phoenix. This way, the Phoenix can be a flying chump blocker for the Root Wall. I don't know if this is correct, but it feels kind of cool. So let's do it. I'm kind of fine with the current meta. Yeah, I agree. Things are not so bad right now. I think Breach being a top deck is like a pretty fine environment. Things are okay. They could be better though. They could always be better, and it is pretty unlikely things stay as they are as well. Am I gonna play standard if Modern gets worse? Maybe. I think to me it seems pretty unlikely Modern is gonna get a lot worse. It seems pretty likely in 3 weeks, like Breach gets banned, the format is pretty playable and open, and there's a lot to do, even with Breach being legal. I don't know, things are pretty good. We're very far from where we were, where I switched to standard for a while. Hard to get worse? I don't know, like, we're much better than the Nadu meta, we're much better than the Energy Ring Raptor meta, in my opinion. So I guess what we'll end up doing is, I guess 1 mana short of Wear Tear plus Phoenix plus Phlage. So if I bestow Phoenix, I have 9 damage. What changed from last week when you said Breach felt powerful and you felt like it was fine to have as the best deck? Nothing. You're not listening to me. I'm still saying things are fine, things are open, things are still good. That doesn't mean Breach needs to be banned, but this is still a fun, open, modern environment, and I'm enjoying having Breach as the best deck compared to Energy and Nadu. That doesn't mean that it's time. It doesn't mean it's not time to ban Breach, but that also doesn't mean that things aren't like much better than they were. Everything I've said has been exactly the same. Right, let's see if we get any help with the bestow. Right, it doesn't seem to do a lot here because we can't. If we could draw it and then Phoenix it, it would kill. Wear Tear the Phoenix, Blink Root Walla, Phlage Face. Oh, right, and then the Trespasser. Gets the last point, huh? So I guess let's go ahead and just see that this works before we cast the Phlage, because we'll probably target the other Root Wall if it doesn't. Generally, it's better to take corrective action before there's a great big problem. I agree. Yeah, I agree. They see Respect the Cat split a Chally finals, black-white with no catcher. I did not see that, no. Okay, so yeah, good thing we waited. Also, did they not have lethal last turn? Could they not have bolted my Phoenix and then pumped both Root Wallas? Or were they missing a mana? Yeah, they were missing 1 mana, wow. I guess it's better to kill this Root Walla than it is to kill this one. Is that true? Plus -3, this is -3. They just have 1 less creature in play? I'm not really sure. Mox Opal is definitely going to be a problem whether or not they ban Breach. Okay, to those who keep saying this, y'all don't think there's any chance Mox Opal just ends up being fine if they don't ban it? I think there's a pretty good chance it ends up being fine. I think we can say that there's some chance of that, but maybe I'm wrong. And I think we have evidence of that is that Mox Opal is currently legal, and there really seems to be no other problematic. Like you can't point to any deck that you think would be problematic if Breach were banned. I don't think you can make a good argument for any Affinity variant, any Brood-Scale variant, Hammer. I don't think you can make a good argument for any of these being busted. Opal could be a problem, but to those saying there's no chance it's inevitable, really? Like, surely you got to keep somewhat of an open mind that it might be okay. I would say that pre Lord of the Rings Modern had that. I think pre Lord of the Rings Modern, before Bowmasters really buffed Scam and the Ring really buffed everything else, I think was a really healthy format where you didn't really need any bannings. And in fact, like the best format in Modern's recent memory, in my opinion. So I'm going to discard the Phlage for sure. I want to keep the Prismatic Ending. I think I'm going to bend the Overlord. Yeah, so like I don't think we've had a super healthy Modern metagame since then. But it's been slowly getting better since they finally took some action against the MH3 cards. Counter argument, is there another Breach deck? It's saying only one deck is a poor argument. Breach has gone in and out of broken. Opal has 2, and it's reasonable to say Wogan. Counter argument, is there another Breach deck? I mean, there are some other decks that do play Breach, yeah, but I don't think this is a great counterpoint, right? Where like Breach is a build around a card, and like one is a payoff and one is kind of like an enabler, right? I do see what you're getting at, but I don't think it's a great point for whatever that's worth. I thought the meta right before MH3 was fairly healthy. It was fairly healthy, I'd say. It was like the problem though is it's like it wasn't as good as I think pre Lord of the Rings. It was a little shaky, but it was much better than it is now, and I think it was better than the Nadu and the energy metagames too. Opal is played elsewhere too, though. Yeah, I don't really think we're saying different things. But like Breach isn't exactly played elsewhere. Like it's a build around card for one deck. And right, like yeah, it's not really played elsewhere. Mox Opal is played in a variety of decks. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused exactly what your point is. I'm not calling for an Opal ban, just making the point that one deck isn't a good argument. I don't even know if I said... Did I say the words one deck? I don't know. I don't know. As usual, I'm a little confused, but we might get there eventually. Let's actually keep this on top so we can escape Phlage, and then the escaped Phlage can let the Ketramose come down as an attacker or a blocker. Yeah, when Murktide was the best deck, that was kind of... That's kind of the exact era I'm talking about, pre-Lord of the Rings. People complain a lot about it, but boy, was it a good environment, in my opinion. Yeah, you said Opal is only good in one deck, but so it shouldn't be banned. Okay, so Opal is not good in only one deck. This is probably a good clarification to make. Opal is definitely good in multiple decks. Opal is only broken in one deck. Is the point I've been trying to make? Is that I don't think that there is going to be a problematic Mox Opal deck besides Breach. I see what you're saying though, but that wasn't the point I was trying to make. All right, let's not jam the Ketramose into the open mana. It's that like it's problematic in the Breach deck. Action needs to be taken against it, but in other decks like the other decks Mox Opal sees play in. Actually, I do feel like I made this point pretty well. The other decks Mox Opal sees play in are not dangerous. They are fine. And I don't think you can point to any deck that would be dangerous. I actually disagree that I didn't make this point very well. But maybe, I don't know. I can see how you took that away, though. They've been talking about the ban since stream started, so much cry. Well, we're just coming from an RC where 6 out of the top 8 decks were Breach. It certainly feels like a pretty appropriate time to be talking about what might happen in the BNR in 3 weeks. So they use a Dismember on the Emperor of Bones instead of on a Ketramose, which is nice. We may need one more fetchable in the deck. We've been running out pretty quick. Alright, so we can play the Ketramose this turn, and if it gets countered, we can escape the Phlage next turn. Because we can surveil. Maybe they have another Dismember. I think the other Opal decks are kind of suppressed due to the price. Most people don't want to try things with Opal when they cost 170. I kind of disagree. As someone who has probably played 30 plus different Mox Opal decks at this point, maybe between the 25 to 30 range. I feel pretty qualified to speak on this. Do you think Titan will continue to avoid a ban? Who knows? So this is my last Surveil land. I guess let's see if we find a Phoenix. Or a Looting. Don't think I want that. The problem with Opal is more of a potential problem than an immediate one. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But can we just cross that bridge when it happens? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Underworld Breach is also one of the worst designed Magic cards of all time. Oh, 2 Bowmasters, wow. Breach is one of the worst designed cards of all time. I think we just ban that now, then cross that bridge when we come to it. I agree it could become a problem. All right, 1 card in their hand. Yeah, Breach was one of the best decks before Opal was unbanned. This definitely seems to be something people don't realize. All right, I guess we go for Emperor of Bones into Oliphaunt because that's a kill. I guess I shouldn't have played this because I was thinking I was going to fetch, but I wouldn't be able to escape the Phlage because there's no fetchable. Or is there a fetchable left for it? I have 2 more planes in the deck, but this can't get planes. So we could have drawn a white fetch off the Emperor of Bones. Okay, so let's let these Bowmaster triggers go on the stack. They might target the Emperor, right? To be fair, it was one of the best ring decks as well. Yeah, for sure. It was the different metagame, also played the ring, but it's like, you know, people do act like it wasn't like one of the best decks in the prior format. All right, well, let's see if they have like a sink into the Stupor. They make me draw 2. Doesn't this only deal me 8 damage? Okay, so I'm down to 7. Oh, well, I guess that fucking does it, huh? No, wait, no, this doesn't do it. Neither of us can do math, which is good news. Oh, they're targeting they're targeting the Emperor of Bones. Wow. And I just respawn and adapt again. A trick everybody falls for once with Emperor of Bones, including me. All right, 3 for 3 on boarding and Graveyard Trespasser. I'll miss Breach of Ruby Storm if they ban it. There's a new option that's like a 5 mana artifact. I think I want 2 Thoughtseize. What's that? There's a different. It might actually be better than Breach too, but it's a 5 mana red artifact from a recent standard set. Dak Faden apparently 15-0, 3 trophies in a row with Mardu Obosh build of Phlage Ketra. Cool. Was he playing Phoenix? I'm not really on Twitter anymore, so I don't ever get to see what Dak's up to. Yeah, it might be Festival of Embers. I think it's good to talk about this one. Is it from Outlaws? I think it's from Outlaws. Maybe it's for Murders? Lost Caverns? Maybe it's not 5. I think it is 5 mana. So maybe I don't know. I don't know where where it is. It's from Bloomborough? Oh, where is Bloomborough? Why isn't it here? Oh, because it doesn't have the required thing? Does anyone know the card I'm talking about? Festival. Oh, it's an enchantment, not an artifact. Okay, sorry, I thought it was an artifact. Yeah, Festival of Embers. During your turn, you may cast instant or sorcery spells from your graveyard, paying 1 life in addition to the other costs. So you can play that as your 5th Past in Flames, Wish Target, and Storm. All right, let's keep this. Go back to looting. Yeah, I thought for sure that one was an artifact. Yeah, I mean Rumble is really, really good. I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense to ban it instead of Breach, but it is really good. Okay, let's just take this one a little bit slower here. This does answer an Oculus that I otherwise couldn't answer, but it can't cast an Oculus next turn. Only exciting thing about the StarCQ weekend was Dingo. No, Jesse won, and then also 2 other friends of mine qualified for the PT. I agree. That was my favorite part. I wasn't that interested in watching the games because I didn't think the Breach mirrors were that fun until I saw that Jesse was in the top 8, and I watched I watched the whole thing. I even subscribed to SCG and then canceled my subscription so I could comment. It was worth it. All right, let's impending an Overlord now. Keep a Thoughtseize. Seems like a good time for that. It's kind of interesting to go Thoughtseize this turn and then potentially just Mountain Cycle and then hardcast an Overlord the following turn. Let's see what's up over there. Fatal Push, Stock Up, Subtlety, Bowmaster. Okay, yeah, let's take the Subtlety. Let's Fatal Push the Tamiyo. Value Town. Stock Up is so insane. People sure keep saying this about the card Stock Up. They keep going, this card is amazing, but that hasn't been my experience. All right, did you top deck a counterspell? How good are you at playing blue decks? Not that good. You're okay. You top decked the Subtlety. Next turn we can haste the Overlord though. Thoughtseize bug alive and well. They know what's happening. We are 3-0-6-0. Let's freaking go again. Shout out to my friend Amaz for the Phoenix tech, who was playing in a more traditional build of black-white, and I built this more aggressive version, playing Looting and Phlage. But I think this is a cool piece of tech. He called me. We were working on the black-white deck. Or I was trying to help him like tune his sideboard and stuff. And then he calls me like, I think he was maybe in Charlotte already. It was like Thursday night or Friday morning or something like that. And he's like, Detective Phoenix, it's perfect. It solves all the issues. Because he was playing like Dothy Voidwalker over Relic, and he had a hard time turning on Ketramose quick. It's just so funny. Well, I do think it's good. I think it's cool tech. All right, let's keep this. I might be shouting out YRG tomorrow if that Outcast Trailblazer, if the Trailblazer tech ends up being good in that Green Sun Zenith deck. This said Layla alongside the multiple XL. She gets bigger fast. Yeah, I had pretty poor experiences with that card, but maybe it's time. Is it time for John Saga to come back? Let's see. I do think that forcing a 2-card engine to become a 3-card engine includes a creature specifically interacts the ability to interact with it. I mean, the creature is Dragon Rage's Channeler, and also like the thing with Breach too is it's just like a lot of times you just mill your combo cards, and Breach is a 1-card combo. But yeah, I just don't think it makes any sense to ban Grinding Station. I'm saying Bobble should be the only ban. Bobble being the only ban is interesting. I remember when Lurrus was legal, like it kind of seemed like Bobble should be the ban because like Imri was also pretty good at some of the times. There's like it was just like Bobble just worked with every card, including Breach. But I don't know. Breach is one of the worst design cards of all time. They just printed a better Yawgmoth's Will. It's banned in Legacy. It's banned in Pioneer. To me, I feel like this is just the easy answer. Like Breach is like top 5 worst design cards ever because it's like they printed this card like 15, 20 years after Yawgmoth's Will. It's like it's crazy that they did that. All right, if we can find a Phelia, then we might be able to Phoenix it next turn and flicker the Overlord. We do brick on the Overlord here. That's okay, because I don't know that my opponent can beat Ketramose plus Phoenix. We'll see. Well, they found another Goyf. It's a 4/5. It's pretty big. Large and in charge, some might say. Could the orbs in the sideboard be Doorkeeper Thralls instead to be better against Breach and findable off Overlord? So, maybe. I forgot to mention this in the deck tech, but a big part of what I like about this build is you can play Torpor Orb for the mirror match. Because you're just not playing Solitude. You're not really playing any creatures with ETB effects except for Hardcast Overlord. So I think that's a cool tool for the black-white mirror match, and like you're not even really cold to Elishnorn. So that and also if you play Torpor Orb, you can go Torpor Orb Phlage, and your Phlage is just in play. So this is all really cool. You could play Doorkeeper Thrall instead, but that would come at the downside of these matchups being worse because like it just dies to Fatal Push. So instead of this being like a nightmare card for the black-white mirror to deal with, they just have Fatal Push as an answer for it. Thrall is better in some spots, though, so certainly a conversation. Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that part of the deck tech is like this is another big dynamic of this build is that you have like all of a sudden you get to play Torpor Orb in the mirror, and so I think there's a good chance that this is the best build of Ketramose or something close to this, where you're faster, you're more aggressive, and you're better in the mirror. You could do a split maybe. If they could print a card that just Rex Breach, what would that card be like? At 1 mana, split second. If there's a card called Underworld Breach on the stack, that player loses the game. There are currently a lot of very good cards in the format. Any deck can play Grafdigger's Cage, and it's still a problem. Bibbo, the 15 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, I forgot to. Oh no, sorry. I totally meant to exile more. What am I doing? Sorry. Too much chatting. Oopsie doopsie. That is like the whole deck. Let me cast a Looting, and then we'll cast a Fatal Push on this and probably live. Sorry, that's how they beat it. Hard to walk and talk sometimes. What do you think about abandoning Golgari Grave Troll? I have a philosophy that if a card was ever banned, unbanned, and banned again, it should never come off a second time. Or a third time. If you're ever banned, unbanned, and banned again, you never get to come back. There's no 2 strikes and you're out. Does anything else besides Troll need to be rebanned? As far as I know, Troll is the only thing that's ever been unbanned and rebanned. I think there might be an exception, or there might be one more that I forget when we have this conversation. Dreads are so weak right now. I don't even think it would matter. Unbanning Golgari Troll. I said just like yeah. I mean, I don't. I think you could be right that like Dredge would still be bad if Trade Troll was legal, but I will also say like Dredge is not exactly a deck that I like when it's good. So whenever people bring up Dredge, I always think of my good friend Jaren, who now plays Commander, but got into Magic via Modern independently. I didn't even talk to me about it, and like showed up to my house one day for D&D with 2 new Modern decks he had built. He was so excited. He'd never played Modern before. He showed up to play Modern with me. The 2 decks he built were Dredge and Tron. And he quickly realized how uninteresting it was to slam these 2 decks into each other over and over and over again. Unfortunately. And then within a month or 2, Jaren started to play Commander. and also I would play other decks against him, and he just very much did not enjoy the gameplay. And of course, this is pretty anecdotal, but so I want to bring in the Wear Tears. Okay, sorry, I'd already like mentally brought them in. Had a second child recently. Underworld Breach is a broken card for sure. It's the kind of broken card that doesn't seem especially broken without hyper-efficient 0-mana enablers. I think Underworld Breach is certainly broken enough and not fun enough that we don't need to ban around keeping it legal. You know what I mean? I agree that the card does kind of need 0-mana cards to exist. It is also one of the worst design cards ever. It is one of the worst design cards of all time. Listen, if you ban Mox Opal and Mishra's Bauble and Mox Amber, I'm going to combo off with Altar of Dementia and Pact of the Titan. I'm going to Altar of Dementia, Pact of the Titan, you guys. All day, every day. Are Trespassers really good enough for Modern now? Yeah, Trespasser is actually just kind of a Modern sideboard staple for these kind of matchups. It's just like, it exiles Phlage, exiles like Phoenix, and then if they want to kill it, you get a 2-for-1. It's like actually like, it's maybe the best card in the format against Boros Energy. Maybe even better than Wrath Disguise. It's up top 5 for sure. Oh yeah. It's banned in Pioneer with 0 mana spells. That's true. Great point. Oh yeah, you can haste it too in this deck. Yeah, like I was playing this like mono black deck, and usually like mono black mid range, and usually mono black just can't contend with Boros, but just 4 main deck Trespasser somehow is the answer. It's like so shocking to me still too, but I have become a Graveyard Trespasser believer after certainly talking some shit in the past. Ketram. Yeah, I know I've kind of opened the can of worms on ban talk, but today I knew I was going to have to come in and talk about bans because we're just coming off the RC six breach in the top 8. It was a good day to talk about it, but tomorrow I'm going to hope to move away from this conversation. But I did want to open up the floodgates a bit today and have this talk. We'll probably talk more about it like in 2 weeks when it'll be a week before the BNR. How does Trespasser keep up with Boros? I don't understand. I saw Boros race a 12-12 double striking trampling Colossus on this channel. Yeah, so it's not about racing exactly. Kind of feel like I'm getting Veil Summered here. But when you play Graveyard Trespasser, your decks are usually full of removal spells like this. Like it's basically always the case that if you are a Graveyard Trespasser deck, then you are going to be... I'm going to play the Phelia this turn. If you're a Graveyard Trespasser deck, then you're going to be a deck that's full of removal spells. And so Trespasser is just very often a 3-for-1 against Boros, where it comes down, exiles Phlage. If they want to kill it, they have to discard a card. It also blocks pretty well, it attacks pretty well, it transforms, it gains life to stabilize. It is not 3 mana win the game, but it's usually 3 mana stay. It's a card that both is a 2-for-1 and stabilizes. And that is so valuable for a card that is defensive and offensive and gains life. It just lines up very well against them. Have I seen the Roots deck combo instead? I didn't. Yeah, is it an infinite Roots combo? I am a big Insidious Roots fan. Have I tried anything different for Jund Delirium with Flytrap? We played it when Opal was unbanned, but haven't played it since then. Hoping they play a Wear Tear target so I can have enough food for my Phoenix. Oh, there's enough food for my Phoenix. Roots Adept Tyvar. Oh yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Endurance pretty perfect here, although I can maybe Prismatic Ending. Draw a card. Yeah, I think with Looting on a band, we played 1 League of Jund Delirium and 3-2'd and then kept going. Okay, Wear Tear target as well, which is nice. Big draw step. Big draw. Alright, so let me start off with Prismatic Ending. No, sorry. Let's go get our Sacred Foundry. Then we detect his Phoenix. Oh, well, I want to exile the... Yeah, this was wrong. I think I should have exiled the I should have endinged then Phoenixed, but I don't want them to be able to use another endurance, so I'm just going to bestow here. But now we have 1 less card in their exile than we could have had. So now that I've drawn Phelia, it seems good to kill this and then cast the Phelia this turn. My life total is going to be a little bit lower though. Might end up flickering the Phoenix just to get it in play again. Three cards in their hand. Good chance they have another removal spell for this Phelia. Could they have a Bowmaster in their hand? They could. Okay. Definitely happy that Bolt is going there. The Endurance was so good. Okay, so I don't have a second black source, so... Yeah, so actually we just always Prismatic Ending, because we don't... If we brick on the Phoenix on the Overlord, it's just such a bad thing, and we could also just draw a black source, maybe an impending Overlord. Mill Phoenix and attack this turn. Although if I draw another black source, maybe it's better to just be able to hardcast and haste this next turn. So I have 3 Phoenixes left in my deck. Impending Overlord is better if I hit... Yeah, I think let's just play it a little bit safe here. Like maybe my opponent has a Thoughtseize in their hand, but like would they cast it this turn? I don't know. With the race aspect of this deck, could Lightning Bolt have a spot over push? Yeah, you could. I did think about it some, especially with pendings to kind of cover some bases. Not sure. Okay, we love this Nile Spellbomb. Alright, so we get to haste and Overlord. Okay. Have not lost a single game. Would love a flawless 5-0 10-0. Unless, I don't know, if it's a DreamHack Dallas and there's like a reasonable Magic tournament, I might go. But I don't think there's any Magic there anymore. Okay, last opponent is Tron. We are on the play. Yeah, I'm going to Hunter Burton this weekend, but that's not really a trip for me. So a pretty good argument for any of these cards. I think the attitude of taking Thought-Knot Seer so I can Emperor of Bones it's kind of mute, right? Because they have this Dismember. This Allah's Dust will be a pretty hard card to defeat, and it's also there imprintable, so I think I should take the Allah's Dust. And then I kind of expect them to go Labyrinth and then tutor for a Eldrazi Temple, and then I can maybe like Phelia flicker the Seer. They drew an imprintable. They drew Sire of the Seven Deaths, so that is a bit awkward. It's also a bit awkward that they're probably going to get to take my Overlord here, but maybe we can get Thought-Knot Seer bugged. Yeah, I believe Indy's Modern. I've been playing Standard. Want to make my first Modern deck as the competitive events seem to be more Modern next year. Do you have any thoughts on a good first deck? Was thinking Domain Zoo. As is affordable, can at least win matches. I think Domain Zoo is pretty good and pretty underrated. I tend to recommend like finding a top tier deck that's like attractive to you, like find something that speaks to you and like fits in your budget and rent it, proxy it, play test it. But I don't think that there's any bad first deck to get into. You know what I mean? It's just like a huge part of like what I love about Modern is how like personal and fun that first deck selection process is. And so I really always hate to deprive people of like picking that first deck. And I encourage you to just really sincerely find something that speaks to you. Okay, interesting. Is Titan a bad first deck? No, Titan's not a bad first deck. In fact, it's a lot of people's first deck. Just because I, have a running beef with the Titan players doesn't mean I think it's not a fine choice. Yeah, Breach is bad because that deck's probably getting banned. So don't anything but Breach. Also, let's go ahead and exile our entire graveyard so top deck Ketramose is a bit quicker to get online. We're still missing one card in exile, but it should be easy enough with this Emperor of Bones. And then let's not flicker the Seer to like cycle here. Might have been good to flicker the Phoenix because they have the Dismember. Not sure. Well, my first deck was Infect because I like watching Tom Ross on the SCG circuit. Yeah, my first competitive Modern deck was Grixis Delver that Caleb D had built, and I lost by winning into my first GP top 8 with it, and I love that deck. So that was something that was really like special and kind of personal to me. It was like the Grixis Delver stuff, and I just I would again hate to deprive you of finding something as special. I guess I should have played the Emperor first, probably. If you flickered Phoenix, they just eat Phelia. Right. So they're down to 12. If my opponent attacks with the Seer, I should probably block and then adapt, right? I get to draw a card, and then I have a good amount of cards in the yard for this Phlage. It's kind of interesting if they want to put this back into their hand. They would need an Eldrazi Temple or an Urza's Power Plant to cast it, but I probably can't beat it. They have K command? Oh my gosh. Their draws were Imprintable, E-Temple, K command. That's pretty good. And then they make spawn so that they can just cast the Sire. So what I need to do against Sire is I need to get a Detective's Phoenix on the Ketramose, or a Ketramose in play. So let's surveil here and see what we can do to advance that plan. Not a lot. So if I block, I can't bestow the Phoenix. Yeah, let's hold it here. Although, no, I'm like kind of locked into chump block. Let's just chump block what we can. Take it back. One awkward thing actually is this is the 7th card in exile, so if they put it back into their hand and cast it and I draw Ketramose, I can't block with it. My first modern deck was mono black Necro. Really like the play pattern. Yeah, I think Necro is a deck that like could sneaky pop up anytime soon. It's like it's been doing kind of well every once in a while recently. So here's the Sire. Cool to see. I haven't seen Sire of the Seven Deaths in a long time. It's a card that, you know, we top 8'd at Eldrazi Tron, or with Eldrazi Tron in a Modern Challenge, like when this first came out. I just haven't really seen it since then. But I'm happy to now. So we get a Phoenix on the Phlage, then they can't just kill it with a blocking of a Sire. Obviously we need them to have not top decked a banger. Definitely critical here. Yeah, I think Belcher will be pretty good if Breach gets banned. It was definitely a lot nicer or easier to contain. The best possible. Let's go to game 3. I think maybe there's a world where I draw a land. I think I can draw a land, Overlord into Ketramose, bestow Phoenix, and maybe be alive, but that didn't happen. They also made Spawn, so their last card was good after that. Okay, so Vindicates are coming in. So the Orim's Chants are kind of nice because they're good against Breach, Storm, and I think you also want them in these kind of matchups. But also, this opponent, there's a good chance they're playing a bunch of Chalices, so let's think a little bit more about this. I do think Phlage, not great against them. Let's probably play one Phlage, no Fatal Push. Maybe Chalice isn't so good because we have all these Prismatic Endings and Phelias, although if I'm adding Orim's Chance, I'm probably cutting Prismatic Endings, which I think is fine. You can just Phelia the Chalice. Is there a world where they ban Consign? I mean, there's some evil, awful alternate dimension where that happens probably, but it doesn't seem like this reality. That they would just ban Consign and then let Eldrazi wreak havoc on the format. Like, that would require there to be like an Eldrazi sleeper agent and WotC, which is, that could be the case. Yeah, ban Path to Exile would be great. Never have to talk about it again. Thought you were done queuing into Eldrazi the top deck's perfects. No. Also, that was a bad game to be like ban Consign. this is a bad time to talk about banning Consign. Consign's like the only good, well, no, not the only one, but like one of the only MH3 designs I really like. They're on a Mold of 4 and I've got a Thoughtseize. Do you see Mill making a stay or is this just for the laws? I mean, Mill is pretty good against Breach, so if Breach gets banned, it probably is not here to stay. I do love the Mill players. The Mill players are my favorite type of modern players. Pretty good 4-card hand. A lot worse after getting Thoughtseize, and then this Labyrinth maybe gets Vindicated. But maybe they just top deck the Thought Seer. You don't know. They top deck the map? It's pretty good. So I think it's important to play a Surveil land here, get a little bit of value. Do you have a date for MH4 yet? Modern needs some fresh air. So this year there's going to be a Marvel set, which is totally popular and completely uncontroversial for Modern to enter, or for the Marvel set to be Modern legal. So is this going to be like an MH4? Is it going to be... oh, they were yielded till end of turn. Tough. Is this going to be like an MH4? Is it going to be like a standard set that's legal in Modern? We don't really know yet. I would be pretty happy if there was never another Modern Horizon set at this point. I think that, you know, MH2 was really important because it stabilized a really unbalanced, unmanageable format. I think that MH3 kind of did the opposite. I think that it kind of ruined what was a format I was really enjoying. I think we're really close to getting Modern back into a really good, healthy place. I think we've been moving in the right direction for a while now. I think I'm optimistic that this can happen soon. They did not learn their lesson here. Tron! I didn't learn my lesson, I guess. Lord of the Rings was a Q Modern Horizon set. Not exactly. It was. I think it was just it was a standard set, almost like a lower power level with two really messed up cards that were just design mistakes. Although maybe Bowmaster was fine, and it was just the ring that was added last second. You know what I mean? They're just not quite a Horizon set. Okay, so you get to go Ketramose plus Phoenix next turn, which is what I was digging for here. I guess we put one of these in our hand. In case they have graveyard hate. Image 2 with Fury, Grief, Hogak was good. Hogak was Image 1. And yeah, Image 2 was like the best, the only good Modern Horizon set. It was not perfect. In fact, I would even say like the pre-Lord of the Rings metagame before like Scam got this big buff with Bowmaster was like I think the pre-Lord of the Rings Image 2 metagame was the best Modern metagame we've had in probably 6 years. Maybe 7 or 8. Maybe ever. But yeah, I think so. Honestly, I also kind of feel like Fury probably never should have been banned and just Grief, but I don't know if we're ready for that combo. They took Overlord? Man. But of course, this is one thing about Magic the Gathering is everybody's got a little bit of a different take, and that's the beautiful thing. So I have to exile 4 cards to get this online. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I also have the Emperor. Yeah, it was not perfect. Modern has never... One thing Modern has never been is perfect. Should I Thoughtseize? I think I should Thoughtseize instead of bestowing the other Phoenix, probably. But Image 2 is like so unfairly attacked that even getting blamed for Hogak. Image 2 for me was the worst. I hate blue. The meta was Grixis for now. At least it's just guy. Yeah, it's okay to dislike Image 2. Image 2 was very unpopular. For me, it was my favorite. It's okay to have not liked it. That was always allowed. I dislike Image sets on principle. Well, that's okay. You could also just kind of judge each set individually, which I think that's the better way to do it. Just kind of take everything as it is and judge everything just on its design. There would be good standard sets, bad standard sets, good secret or Universe Beyond sets, bad Universe Beyond sets, good Modern Horizon sets, bad Modern Horizon sets. But you could also just be, angry and online. Being angry and online is always an option. Okay, so we just go, Phelia, Phoenix, and win. All right, this is for the trophy. Let's go. I do think it's funny how MH3 is just so slandered, or MH2 is so slandered, it even got blamed for Hogak today. He even got blamed for Hogak. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, I'm probably wrong about Andor. I will watch Andor eventually. I'm going to watch the new Daredevil season soon, though. Best creature in Modern? It is Primeval Titan. Still. Frog. I mean, Frog doesn't see almost any play right now, so kind of hard to pin it on Frog. Feels like I should keep a Thoughtseize, but also feels like keeping Thoughtseize isn't exactly a winning line. I mean, I'm going to go Phelia into Overlord Thoughtseize and hope it's good enough. We'll see. Ender was the best piece of Star Wars in the last 20 years because it didn't rely on Star Wars to be good. That's what people say. That's what people say. Will Coco ever be relevant in Modern again? I mean, if they print enough good 3-mana creatures, it will be. I kind of like very briefly was thinking about trying to play let me think about this. I think let's go Thoughtseize this turn and then Surveil first. Trying to play Coco into Oculus Ketramose. And that was the wrong line to take. Holy guacamole. Okay, so they top decked another Thoughtseer. They take Orim's Chant, which is interesting. So they're gonna draw K command next turn or Karn. I draw another Thoughtseize. Alright, let's Surveil. Land into the yard. It's almost right to chump block with Phelia so I can Emperor of Bones and chump with the Phelia again next turn. Maybe that just was correct. Okay, they drew another Eldrazi Temple. That's so funny. I literally draw more Thoughtseizes than my opponent has spells. Unless, I guess equal if you count Expedition Map. And they drew K. Wait, how do they even have the K command in their hand? How do they even have it in their hand? I guess they had 2 draws? Yeah, Thoughtseize. Modern Horizons 2! Well, I'll take the 4-1. Would have been a cool trophy. There's not a 0% chance that they're floating the Eldrazi mana to tilt me into conceding, but they don't actually have it. Alright, let's move on. Well, 4-1 to first league with this build. To all the Ketramose gamers out there, I encourage you to give Detectives Phoenix a go. Again, shout out to Amaz for the tech. Just the ability to immediately turn Ketramose online, the ability to get aggressive, the ability to turn this into a crazy Baneslayer Angel that's indestructible, I think is pretty cool. I've been liking Oliphaunt with Emperor of Bones. Being able to buy it back has been pretty cool. You could go a few different directions with this too. You could maybe be less white based. You maybe don't need to play Phlage. You don't need to play Looting if you don't want to play Looting. But I think this is a pretty good first draft, and I hope the Ketramose gamers out there consider it and give it a little bit of a try. I'm certain that there is some innovation to be done, but I probably won't be messing with this build at least tomorrow. I'm going to try YRG's suggestion to play Outcast Trailblazer in that Green Sun Zenith Bright Glass Gearhulk deck we played.